Welcome to Action Coaching. We're certainly delighted that you join us on this week. It's because God has a special coaching tips for you. Remember, Action Coaching is designed to coach the best life out of you that God has placed in you so that you can live fully and experience those things that God has for you. So I am certainly delighted that you join us this week on Action Coaching. Want to make sure that you share with your friends, your neighbors, let them know they need to be a part of Action Coaching. Now, Action Coaching is designed, we come each and every week to just kind of give you some helpful tips as you go through life's journey so that you can put them in action and help better your course or change some things that you're doing. I don't believe nobody make it in life without a coach. Every one of us need a coach, including me. We need a coach, someone to just continue to push us and drive us to a higher level. So I'm excited about Action Coaching. This week, I'm going to talk about taking the brakes off. Let me say that again. Taking the brakes off. Most of us live our life, in a car. When you are at a particular stop or you're putting it in park, either when you come home or you're at the mall or whatever, one of the things they have is, you turn the car off and then they have what they call emergency brakes. So you mash the emergency brakes, and the emergency brakes are there to keep the car from moving or rolling or anything, so they have the emergency brakes on. And then when you get back in the car, one of the first things you do is take the emergency brakes off. Then you put the car in drive and you go on about your business. Well, most people have lived their life with the emergency brakes on. And as a result of that, they have experienced some difficulty in just enjoying the things in life. You got to take the brakes off. But I know a lot of people have the brakes on because of some past hurt, past experience, something you tried that did not work. So you decided just to put the brakes on that particular experience. I can say this, that, coming up, whether you believe it or not, for some reason I was very shy. Now you're talking about a person that was shy. Little would I ever thought I would be a speaker, let alone before crowds, but that's just the way I was. And in the midst of being that way, when you're shy or you're uncomfortable with yourself, then you take rejection very hard. It's like just because you got one rejection or one thing happen, you just decide, I'm not going to try that anymore. That was too painful. And you just put the brakes on it. I was the type of dude that, we was at a party or there's a young lady there, somebody I wanted to talk to or to dance with. Immediately in my mind, I felt like, well, I need to go over there and ask her. I need to go over there and talk to her. But then my mind has said, well, what would happen if she turned me down? What am I going to do? So the fear of being turned down kept me from taking the brakes off and going on across the room. Now I've adopted this philosophy in life. I believe that in everything you have 50-50 chance. Now 50% that you can cross the room and she'll say yes, and 50% she may say no. But I think your odds are better even if it's a no. Because if it's a no, when you come back, you're just gonna come back with the same thing you didn't have in the first place. You didn't achieve the goal, so you didn't have it to start, but I like my odds. And I believe that if you take the brakes off in life, I believe the time God is wanting many of us to take the brakes off. Take that step. Take that leap. You owe it to yourself. Somebody said, well, what if I fail? Isn't it amazing that the what ifs, you fail or mess up or you lose your money, those come into play more than what if I succeed? What if it's a great thing? What if it's the best thing I ever done? But you just have the brakes on all of the negatives. And many of us, romantic relationships, marriages, everything, a lot of us have been paralyzed. Just because one person didn't want you, that don't mean that it's the end of the world, that everybody else look at you differently. I always felt like, well, if they didn't want me, they just turned down a great opportunity because I was going to be somebody special. I didn't just let it stop me from saying I'm not going to try it anymore. And it's been that way my entire life. I'm going to act on the promises. I believe I cannot live without trying. I just got to be the guy that try. I've got to take the brakes off. I would rather do that than spend my whole life with the brakes on. Many are listening to me now. You got 20 years on a job you didn't even like, but you were just afraid to try something differently because you already made up in your mind. If what you wanted to try didn't work, you would be without money. You wouldn't know how you were going to make it. You wouldn't know how you were going to keep this and that, so you just put the brakes on it. And 20-something years later, you still frustrated that you didn't take the brakes off and give yourself a chance. Have you ever been in a position you done had an idea, knew how to work the idea, and you didn't act on the idea, you put the brakes on it, and all of a sudden you see somebody else with your same idea, the same thing you had an idea with first. They out there succeeding, successful, and blowing up, and you like, oh, Jesus, I had that idea first. All because you had the brakes on. Now I know that many people in this day, past experiences have made us fearful, have made us afraid to just kind of take our foot off the brakes. But I got news for you. You never go forward as long as you got the brakes on in your car. But life is to be lived forward. It can't be lived in reverse, and it sure can't be lived standing still. So at some point, you're going to have to take the brakes off. Let me say this. I believe we're in the hour now where God wants His people to take the brakes off. There are going to be so many opportunities, so many ways for new invention and new things and new visions to come to forth. And it's only going to happen to the people who have taken the brakes off. I'm excited about each and every day I get up. One of my prayers is, Lord, don't let me put the brakes on a great opportunity that's in front of me. Don't let me be afraid to step out there and give you an opportunity to show me how many more things you can do for me. I get it. I understand. When I first started the vision that God gave me, I think one of the worst things I did is run it by a whole lot of other people. And I ran it by a whole lot of other people. And you know what the sad part is? The first thing they told me is, well, you can't do this by yourself. You can't start a church with no members. And how you gonna pay for this and that? You don't have no members, nobody come. How are you gonna do this? Never did anybody say, well, what if you go? You'll probably get some members. And everything will be paid for. Or God will open up the door. They just talked about all of the what ifs. And I went home frustrated with my foot on the brakes because I was scared to take the brakes off. What about you? Where are you today concerning taking the brakes off? It is important that we take the brakes off, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be so many joyous things that you experience if you take the brakes off. Now I'm going to be back in just a moment to talk to you about some ways you can take the brakes off. I'll be right back.
Well, the Lord bless you. I've certainly enjoyed you being here on Action News. See you on next week.
Of audio cassettes, Faith to Live Your Dreams by Pastor Wiley Jackson Jr.
So all the years you on crack cocaine, he's still saying, I'm waiting on you. All the years you being unfaithful to your wife and running all over the city, God said, I'm still waiting on you. All the years you drive by the church and wouldn't even come in, God said, I'm still here. Miracles will only show up when you get out there. In life, praise the Lord, if you want a miracle, hallelujah, it's not till you get up and do something that God is going to manifest himself.
Minister Jackson, the prize is mine.
I'm getting ready to win the $500 as I sprint out ahead of everybody. And I'll ride in the park and hold up a championship trophy. I'm waiting on the drug test. I think some of the runners had steroids before the race.
I had to carry my baby half of the way on my back. Well, see, what happened was I decided to let somebody else have the $500, you know.
I can't talk.
I left off saying that I was going to talk to you about some ways that you can take the brakes off. I know the saying is, look before you leap. But sometimes you need to leap and look afterwards. Because sometimes if you look before you leap, your looking will talk you out of ever leaping. Sometimes you just have to go on. I believe that everybody have a inner gut feeling. You know, I don't know if you've ever experienced, but some things in my gut, you know, I'm not physically talking about my gut, but on my inner man, I just felt like that was the right thing to do. That was the leap I needed to take right now. Now, I'm glad I was not dependent upon my eyes, because I never would have experienced the tremendous blessing that I had from that occasion. But sometimes, rather than practicing on saying look before you leap, then sometimes you just need to leap and look afterwards. Second of all, if you believe you want to take a leap on something, it might be better to talk to people who have already taken that step. Most people generally have a conversation about what they endeavor to do with people that are endeavoring to talk you out of it. That's the kind of circle most people run in. I've counseled people. People had business, and you might say to them, well, if you want to move up higher in the business, you got to have a higher level of excellence. And then you have to bring in different expertise, and you have to do this and that. And then the minute you get through talking to them, 2 days later, well, I thought about what you said, but the excellence is going to cost, and I might have to lay off one of my relatives, even though they're sorry. I just have to keep them around. Somebody that already taught them out of taking that leap. So a lot of times you have to talk to people that have taken that leap also. I've experienced. When you try to explain to people vision and what the vision entails, if they never had a vision, they don't know what in the world you're talking about, because everything is going to seem crazy to them because they're going to put the brakes on it. And when they put the brakes on you, you are going to be the one that have to suffer and deal with it. Yeah, you can tell yourself excuses. Well, maybe they were right. I might not should have tried it. But it's time that you take the brakes off and prove something to yourself. I believe that life is full of opportunities and that we need to quit holding ourselves back. You can't set other people holding you back, because at the end of the day, you make the decision to hold your own self back. It only got to do with you. You can try to blame other people, but at the end of the day, that's just a fantasy of yours. You are the one holding yourself back. You the one got your foot firmly on the brake so you cannot move forward. But I want to challenge you now to start writing things down that you want to take the brakes off. Things that you're going to take the leap. Things that you're going to go full speed ahead and not going to have the brakes on in your life. Things that God has already gifted you to do, whether it's that business, a new job, a new opportunity. You feel that the time is right to do it now. Take the brakes off of it. Go for it. I believe life is like this. Opportunity comes for a moment and you better grab it. But inopportunity, it comes, and once you lose it and you do it and you don't act on it, you will never be able to have that opportunity again. So you got to act on the opportunity, because it's coming for a moment. You got to grab it and move on down the road with it, because chances are you taking that leap is going to help you succeed in so many things. Time to take the brakes off. I don't want to hear stories of people that have took the brakes off and they successful. Yes, I rejoice in their story. I'm not hating, I'm not jealous, but I want to have my own story. I want to take the brakes off and see what can I explore. See what level I can go to. See the things that I can experience, all because I took the brakes off. The Lord is challenging you. Take the brakes off and move forward. Now, this last point I want to say to you, and I want you to hear me clearly. There are so many opportunities out there for your gift and talent. The world is moving now in a more specialized society, and those that can meet the needs and feel those specialized things are going to experience the abundance of God's blessing. The fact that we're in the midst of this pandemic, look how many businesses have actually changed their method of operating, and they did it instantly. And they're making great success. And they're experiencing a newfound method of doing business. A whole host of the world was working from home, not able to go into the job and physically gather together. But people are still making tremendous amount of money sitting at home doing their work via all of the technology that was around. Some technology was created like Zoom and those things years ago. But however, the time had not come, meaning that people still were coming in the job to work. But look at it now. Zoom and all these things are booming because an opportunity has come. It's a good thing they didn't have their foot on the brakes and say, I'm not going to create something so people can talk at home. Look at the phones. Now you can FaceTime people. You can talk to them. You don't necessarily have to go over to their house. You weren't able to go over to their house all the time. But just through FaceTime, it's like y'all talking one-on-one. But I'm just talking about there's so many opportunities that if you take the brakes off then it's going to be your time. I don't want you to live your life hoping and wishing and wondering what you should have did. But I want you to live your life saying, I gave it a go. I took the brakes off. I went forward. I took the leap. I decided that it was now or never. On the things I took the leap on, I burned the bridge behind me, so there was no other way I could go back. Had to take the brakes off. To just interject this little testimony, when I was going to leave my job at a particular company and go full-time in ministry, yes, I thought about the fact that if I go full-time in ministry, now what if the people don't show up? What if they don't support the pastor? What am I going to do? And I wrestled back and forth between that. One mind would say, go anyway, it's going to be all right. The next mind would say, no, you better put the brakes on this. Better wait a while till you got something a little more steady. And I was going through all of that. But then I'm glad that I decided that I was going to go full force. I was going to take the brakes off and take this opportunity to see what was out there for me. But the thing I had to do, I went up to the personnel department and I said, now what can I do to make sure that there is no way I could come back to this job even if I wanted to? And the lady explained to me certain things I needed to do to make sure that I couldn't ever come back to the job. First when I went up there, she said, well, you might want to leave this open so that in case something don't work, you can come back to the job. You got good records, you can work on time, all of those different things. I said, no, I want to know what I can do to fix it so I cannot come back to work here regardless. And after she told me those things with trembling hands, I signed it and said, all right, I'm out there now. Because I realized if I would have left that door open, time something got hard, I would have went right on back. But I didn't want to put brakes on what I believed that God was endeavoring me to do. Now I know that there are people that are watching this coaching session and say, what if I do it and it fails? Then just do something else. Try again. Don't give up. But I'd like to say, what if you do it and it succeeds? Obviously you'll want more of it. So it's time to take the brakes off and watch God open so many things for you. I want to challenge you. Reach out to me today. Let me pray with you and say, yes, Bishop, I'm taking the brakes off for this. Pray for me. I'm going forward. I've been hurt in a bad relationship, but I'm going to give me another one. I'm taking the brakes off, and I know that God is going to richly bless you. Well, thank God for this opportunity. Let me hear from you as to how you taking the brakes off. I'll be right back to talk to you. Praise God for you joining us on today here for Action Living. Thank God that you're sharing with others about the blessing Action Living has been to you so that they too can partake in these coaching sessions. I want to take this opportunity to encourage you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offering for the support of Action Coaching. You can sow $100, you can sow $200. No amount is too big or too small to help us with Action Coaching so that we can continue to coach people all around the world and make Action Coaching even bigger and better so that we can minister to people. So I want to encourage you to sit down and sow a generous seed faith offering. There's a link in my bio that will give you a host of ways that you can sow to Action Coaching. And I would love to hear from you And I'm going to be consistently praying over the seed that you've sown, praying that God continue to bless you as much as you have been a blessing to Action Coaching. So I'm certainly looking forward to hearing from you. Well, the Lord bless you. I certainly enjoyed sharing with you on today. So as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.